There was a second part of this video that I wanted to record and I forgot to mention it. So so he fires this person, and now everybody in the Bureau of Labor Statistics is going to be scared about whatever next, or any statistic, any government statistic that's going to be released, right? About unemployment data, inflation data. This is going to have a cascading effect. And I know my lefties, my libbies, and then my maggots, and then my regular GOP voters who just voted for Trump because you didn't like how was happening currently in the country. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. Not gonna argue that. Things weren't pretty. I still preferred Kamala over Trump. If you were to ask me about 100 times, I would have preferred her because I seen what Trump is, seen what kind of person he is, and I just wasn't okay with what he brought to the table in many, many ways. Excuse me. I hate saying that. So the inflation numbers going forward, the unemployment numbers going forward, are going to be unreliable. I knew this was coming. I talked to my brothers about it. I knew this was coming. I knew this was going to come for sure. Talked to my family members about it. I knew this was going to happen. Just a little faster, I guess, than I thought it would be, or not as blatant. That's the problem. This fucking administration isn't even smart enough to do this stuff on the low, hide it, maybe cover up their poop like my cats do a little better, right? So no one can smell it, no one knows, can't see it because it's covered up. But they do things so blatantly and make it so obvious in what they're doing. And I guess if I was a felon, got elected, and been running in for office for the last 10 plus years, and got elected twice, I'd probably do the same. Because it's never been held accountable other than the Jeffrey Epstein stuff that's going on. And, I'll do videos on that. So we won't have reliable unemployment numbers. We won't have reliable labor statistic numbers. We won't have reliable inflation numbers. But you know what makes me happy ultimately is you can't fake how people feel. So Trump can come out and say he's owning the libs in great ways, right? With these Europe deals that are not even trade deals, they're beginning negotiations of official trade deals that are super complex and can take years to implement and come to agreement on. And a lot of paperwork obviously involved with them. So you're owning the libs with tariffs. He's bringing jobs back from overseas, which, again, takes years. Yes, you may have one company here and there, a small company, small business. Yeah, we'd like to see that. That is doing more production here now because of the tariffs, and it's helping them. That's great. But I'm talking wide. I'm talking about the economy as a general. For these things to have an effect on people's life, what Trump is thinking the tariffs will do, it's going to take multiple years. Sometimes it can be decades. For example, a company like Apple, if they were to ever move here to the U.S., it would be multiple years, close to a decade, to officially see the fruits of that labor. And companies with okay, we could digress into tariffs. So, we have what I was saying is people, you can't change the way people feel. You can release all the positive unemployment numbers. Hey, unemployment's like at less than 0.5%. Or 0%. Inflation is 2% or 0%, right? We just kind of started tracking it. And then, we added over 500,000 jobs to the economy. Only 20,000 people in total, the entire country were laid off or let go of. What Biden and Kamala learned is people's everyday lives. You can say all the fancy numbers, you can make up all the fancy numbers, but people's grocery bills, people's utility bills for water, trash, sewer, electricity, heat, the money they have to spend to feed their kids and their cats, whoever, healthcare, whether they live in a rural part of Georgia or some part in New York City. I was going to say fancy building. Well, the healthcare probably doesn't matter to them. They probably can't afford it, I would guess. Whether it's a rural part in Georgia, deep blood red, or blue like the sea part in Seattle, those people will feel it. Those everyday working Americans will feel it. And it doesn't matter, Mr. Trump. Fucking hate saying his name. Doesn't matter what kind of fancy labor statistic numbers you'll throw out, what kind of fancy inflation numbers you'll throw out, what kind of fancy unemployment numbers you'll throw out. Those people in Georgia, those people in Seattle will see that their grocery bill hasn't changed. If anything's gone up, they've lost health care or have to pay more for health care. And the cost of goods for their utilities, the cost of their utilities and how much it takes for them to feed their kids and cats has also gone up. So it's cool. You can play it. This is cute up to a point, right? It's cute up to a point. You can't fool people's wallets.